Hi. So, um, I didn't find a tutorial or any documentation about this whatsoever. So today we're going to be making a terminal slash command prompt in Electron. Um, we're going to be using xterm.js for the visual, the so that we can actually see it. More information is at xterm.js.org. And we're going to be using node-pty on npm to interact with the command prompt slash PowerShell slash bash, whatever you're on. I got the documentation open on a second screen in case I need any help or any reminders. I set up a basic example app here so that the video can move along a bit faster. So it just says hello Electron. So the first thing we're going to need to change is we're going to need web preferences and turn on node integration for whatever window you're working with, so that we can actually use like IPC to interact with the main process, which we're going to need to do. So now let's set up a index.js, and you can reference it however you want. Personally, I'm going to reference it via script tag, so just index.js here, but you can also put like require and then index.js if you want to do that. There's a couple of reasons why you might want to do that, but we're just going to be doing the basic require. And I'm going to remove this hello Electron and add a new div with the ID of terminal. I mostly spell it right. Also, sorry if I am typing slower or inaccurately. I haven't used this keyboard in a while. Yeah, so now it's referenced, and we're going to do npm I node-pty, and we are also going to install xterm. I think it's just xterm. Yeah, it is. And we're going to wait for those to install. So node-pty is based off of C and C++, so it's going to build those. But you'll notice that it might not work. It'll appear to work right here. So you'll see these C++ files are being compiled. But we're just going to see if it'll work. So it's installing node-pty. Source code for node-pty is available. I believe it was made by Microsoft for Visual Studio Code. But Visual Studio Code uses it hyper upterm script runner for Atom, which is like a terminal for Atom, I guess. Thea Freeman file manager. Atom xterm, I guess that's also an terminal plugin. Termination, Electterm, extra term, Weddy. Good names. So yeah, you can get it at. I think they moved the. No, they didn't move the repository. It's at github.com slash https github.com Microsoft node-pty. So let's set up a basic xterm real quick. If we go to xterm.js, you can see the example code. So we put the terminal div right here in our HTML. Now we can do var term equals new terminal. So this kind of screwed me over, is that you might have like plugins or something, like I have Kite, which will auto import terminal from xterm. However, we don't want that, because what we're going to do is we're going to include it in our HTML. You can include it using JavaScript. I don't do that. Node modules, xterm, CSS. Get the CSS in there and the JavaScript too. just like that. Those are the two directories, or two files if you need them. And new terminal, you can put settings here, so you can put like style, background, like you can change the background color. Just Google it, you'll find it. And we can do term.open and then document.get element by ID and then terminal, just like in our HTML. And you're going to do a basic term.write hello world to make sure it's working. And see, there it is. Just wrote hello world. You can make this window bigger if you want. The actual xterm, or you can see my mouse cursor is changing. That's where it ends. I believe it is 80 columns by 24 rows. We'll be using that metric soon. We can also do term.onData and then pass the event and through it. E is just the data that's coming through, and we can do term.write E. Note that if you want to reload or something, xterm will capture all events, so if I press Control R, it won't reload. So you have to unfocus, and it'll do it. As you can see, we have a basic thing here. You can move the cursor with the arrow keys. Backspace doesn't work. So if you want to do it like this is just a dead terminal and nothing on the back end. If you want to do it like this, there's no backspace. Enter brings you to the front of the line. You'll have to return to the end of the line and then make a new line manually by yourself. So this is just to make sure that the onData function works, and you can comment this out or you can delete it, whatever you want. Just make sure it's not there, otherwise you're gonna get doubles of everything. Okay, so now we got to do the stuff in the main.js. So if you have like a drop down terminal, or it's like if you press a button, we're not going to be creating multiple terminals. We're just going to be making one terminal that you can interact with. So I'm going to pull up the node. Well, that's weird. I can use my mouse buttons to cycle through. That's kind of cool. I'm getting distracted, but I'm going to go to the node-pty documentation because you bet I already forgot it. Alright. We're going to require the OS library. This is built into Node, so no need to install it. And node-pty as pty. And I like to create a global variable called shell, and it's going to be equal to os.platform. This is going to be an inline if statement. So we're going to do win32, and so if we're running Windows, then we're going to do PowerShell.exe, which we are running Windows, and anything else like Mac OS or Linux, we're going to run Bash. Of course, if you're only building for Windows, you don't need this. And then I'm going to put it in the create window function. Okay, say var pty process is equal to pty.spawn, and the files here. So the file that you're going to execute, it could be your own custom command line app, or it can be cmd.exe or PowerShell.exe, or it can be bash, but we already have one, and that's shell, which we created to be dynamic throughout operating systems. Here's your arguments. It's just an array. You can put them as strings, and our options are here. Options, name, by default it's xterm color. I don't know why. We have our columns as COLS, and we're going to put that to 80. 80. Is it 80? I'm pretty sure it's 80. And our rows to 24. And cwd process dot environment dot home and environment process dot environment, just like that. Now we're going to do pty process dot on data. So this is data that's coming from, it's coming in from our executable, and we're going to send this in the form of like IPC data. So we're going to need IPC main from Electron. We can actually put that up here, IPC main. And we're just going to do main window.webcontents.send, and we can send terminal.incoming data, and we're just going to put data as one of the things that gets sent to it, data blobs. And so there's another one called pty process.write. This is data going into the terminal. So you want to put like ls or dir or cd or g++, gcc. Those are compilers for C and C++. But we can do, this is just what, it's incoming data. So we're going to set up an IPC event. So IPC main.on terminal dot call it whatever you want. I don't know. I'm running out of names here. We're going to get the event and data, and we're going to pass it to pty process. Whoa. Pty process dot write. Pass through data. So that's all we have to do for main.js. Now we're going to go in index.js and require IPC renderer electron.ipc renderer. So when you type something, when you're focused on the terminal and you type something, we want to do ipc.send terminal.toTerm. I think that's what I called it. Yeah. And we pass through the data that's coming in, which is E. And now we gotta receive the data. So I'm going to remove this hello world thing. And we're going to say ipc.on terminal.inc data. I'm using ES5 today. Get event, get the data, and term.write data. And that's it. So we have to restart our app because we edited the main.js. Oh yeah, this is what I was talking about, that it's not going to build right. So you'll see conpty.node was compiled against a different Node.js version using node module version 72. So it says please recompiling or reinstalling. If you reinstall it, nothing will happen. But I found this package, so I'm going to go to npm.js.com, called Electron Rebuild. So anything that uses Electron, I guess, you can put any like C++, C, any other compiled language that uses Electron, you might have to rebuild. So it's simple enough to do. We can just do npm I Electron rebuild, and you wait for that to install. So if you get that error, you know how. I'm gonna show you how to fix it. Sometimes you might not get the error, but I've had to rebuild it every time. So now that it's installed, we can't just do Electron rebuild because it's not global. So we're going to have to make a script in our package.json. I'm going to make it rebuild, and it's just going to execute Electron rebuild. Save it. npmi. No, not npmi. npm run rebuild. And you can see it says building module node-pty. Just give it like a minute or two. Go get a snack. It doesn't take too long, but we can just wait. You can also set I can't speak today. You can also set specific modules to be rebuilt, so you can do that by doing electron rebuild space -f -w and then your module name. You need node 6 or higher. The options are on the npm.js npm.js page, and it said rebuild complete. So you can also just put in electron rebuild -h for help. But yeah. Alright, let's start our app again. And you notice this time, whoa, we got the PowerShell. So we can cd. It's a little bit wonky. Just prototyping. CD documents, projects, video 2. And now we're in this folder. So you can do things like vim main dot. Well, okay, I'm gonna make a mkdir cpp cd cpp. Make the window a bit bigger here, and you can. So we're in cpp. So you can go vim main dot c++, insert. Include IO stream int main, and we'll do standard cout hello world, and line, and return 0. You don't even need that return, or maybe that's C, I don't know. And save that. And g++ out main.exe main.c++, and main. Oh, that launches the mouse thing. And it said hello world. So we just created a program using a terminal / PowerShell we've made in Electron. That's it. I didn't see it documented anywhere. So I just did tons upon tons of Googling. I even looked through like the source code of Windows Terminal to see what made it tick, and Visual Studio Code. Yeah. And I found a package in Visual Studio Code, node-pty. And it happened to work really well. That's it. You can leave now if you want, if that's all you came for. But it was last updated 4 days ago. I don't know what they added. I'm very interested now that I've seen like node modules. Where did it go? Node-pty. If we go to src, you can see these C++ files that are being used in conjunction with these Electron apps. I am very interested in C++. I love C++. So I might do some more research on these like modules. I forgot what they're called. If we go to Electron rebuild, I think they say it. At the Visual C++ component. I don't know. Electron C++ modules. Yeah, I'm gonna do more research on them. You might get a video out of that. See what they're all about, but it's a very, very useful node-pty in conjunction with xterm.js. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed. We created a terminal, sort of like the one in Visual Studio Code, or I know one of them that was a thing was it was some sort of Electron terminal app. A lot of my inspiration came from that because I saw, hey, you can do this in Electron, so what's stopping me from doing it? I did it for my game engine that I'm writing, but that's it. Okay. Goodbye.